All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on another edition of Transformation Greatness. And I'm just so happy and thankful for you guys to really just be tuning in and really for me having an opportunity as far as to, provide some insight on things in which that I learned. And so this is going to be very, very cool. And I really want to go ahead and jump into this. So definitely don't want to take long. So for all those that's in attendance, do me a favor if you will. If you catch us on the live, put in hashtag live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you're catching us on the replay, by all means, put in hashtag replay. Let me know where you guys tuning in from. And before we even jump into this topic, let me just go real quick as far as on who I am. And let's go ahead and dive into this, shall we? So my name is Sean White, and I'm the founder and creator of a brand called Transformation Greatness, which is all about motivating, encouraging, and inspiring the masses. And with that brand, it consists of me being a speaker, also a life and mindset coach, as well as a hypnotherapist, and with many different other hats in which that I wear as well. And one of them being the founder and CEO of the Small Business Network, along with my partner, Dr. James McConnell. And what we do is that we give entrepreneurs, business owners, those that have a profession, the opportunity to really be able to branch out there and just exponentially grow your business using the power of internet, TV, and radio. So with that being said, I believe this is very fitting because I put in communication a key art. And over the weekend, I was just listening to something that a gentleman mentioned, and I was like, wow, that's very, very powerful because we understand with the art of communication as human beings, doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, whether you're career oriented, or wherever you're just going through everyday life. We understand that communication is very important because we know with this, the power of our tongue, it can either bring up or it can tear somebody down. And I want you to really think about that because think about the times in which that, for example, that you get very angry, right? And I remember the times in which I would get very angry at an individual. I'm not in that process, of course, right, trying to speak anything positive, trying to build a person or anything like that. When I'm angry, right, it would be at times in which I can say something in which the thing about it we all know is that once you say something, it's out there in the atmosphere. Now, of course, we can go ahead and apologize, right, if we humble ourselves and say in which that we was wrong. But the fact of the matter is that it was already out there. So with that being said, we're always trying to find ways in improving ourselves in terms of the communication. We have here Coach Shyla here in the building from Houston, Texas. Welcome, welcome, and congratulations on your move, by the way. And we have Dr. James McConnell, the mad scientist himself, in the audience, so I think he might have left the building for a moment. But in any event, guys, communication, even as I'm doing this live stream, communication is very key because I'm pretty certain that if I was using words as far as to tear someone down, the likelihood of a person actually watching this would be slim to absolutely none, right? So one of the greatest tools in which you can use as being an effective leader, an effective salesperson, an effective fill in the blank is using the power of communication. Very, very important. And there's no wonder why, why there's so many different master classes and books that speaks about communication. Why? Because it's a very vital skill. And once you get very good at that, to very great at it, the world then has a tendency to want to pay us handsomely, not because of who we are, because we're all so special. Absolutely not. Because we understand the power of communication and what it lies. So that's the first point in which I want to bring to you guys. The second point is this, is that when we are absolutely clear in the messaging, absolutely clear on what we want to convey, that's when we give them the decision right then and there, right, instantaneously, on whether they want to vibe or jive with us or not. If we're not clear in our messaging, if we're not clear in the communication, then obviously that's when misunderstandings come into play, right? It's just like you are saying baseball and they're saying football. Well, guess what? If the communication is not clear, then the two parties are completely off, and it's like one person has to either try to guess what the other person is saying, or they're just tuned off and they're saying, okay, wait a minute, I have no idea what you're talking about. You're speaking a foreign language to me. And for that, as you can see, there's no meeting in the middle. There's no understanding whatsoever because both parties are completely off. I'm pretty sure you guys definitely get that. The third point which I want to go ahead and consider is this, is that when there is great dialogue and conversation, and this is something in which I've learned as being a speaker, as being a coach, as I mentioned earlier, as well as especially as being a hypnotherapist, when there's great communication, we are able now to move the conversation more further. What do I mean by that? What I mean is this, is that if you're meeting someone as far as in the store, right? Let's give you a quick example. And you just spoke about conversation and you say, hey, Josh, hey, by the way, man, hey, I'm feeling those sneakers, man. Where you get those sneakers from, player? And he going to tell you, oh, Sporting Authority, Ross, wherever, right? And you're like, man, yeah, I like those, man. I mean, do they have them in all different kind of flavors? And he's going to say, well, I mean, yeah, they have them in red, blue, green, and right. And then what you're doing is that you're looking at him and you're seeing more things in which that you can, be admired by, right? Because you understand the power of communication and you understand as far as that you're moving it along in the right direction in order to gain traction, in order to gain momentum. I'm hearing somebody that's probably watching this on the live or maybe on a replay like, okay, Sean, what the heck does that guy do as far as a business? Well, it means a lot. It means a lot because when you understand this philosophy, right, when you understand, dare I say, modality, right, it allows for a person to be more at bay, to be more at ease at you, and thus they're going to want to engage back with you. If the communication is not there, right, if they don't get a sense that there's great communication, if it's more so, dare I say, one-sided, what typically happens, ladies and gentlemen? If somebody can put that in the comments for me. If you feel the conversation is pretty much one-sided, what do you tend to do, right, naturally? Okay, nobody put in the comment section yet? Okay, cool. Well, I can go ahead and tell you from my experience, when it's a one-sided conversation, what a person tends to do is shut down, right? And that's just a natural default. Why? Because we feel like as far as we're not validated and we're not feeling heard. So what happens then is like the person shuts down, they will listen, but at the same time, they're really not listening. They're probably wondering, well, I wonder what was going to be on TV later on, or what's going on with so-and-so, or what's going on with so-and-so. So the whole key is for communication. It has to be a two-way street. It's almost like dancing, right? It's almost like dancing. It is a two-step process. It has to be a rhythm. It has to be a beat, right? It has to be a hook. It has to be a chorus. Communication is just like that. And when you establish that, by the way, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. But when you understand that, and when you understand the person that's speaking in front of you, or on the phone, or on Zoom, watch how the way that conversation goes. Watch. So I want to go ahead and just give you guys 4 insights in which I gathered, right? First one is this, and this is in terms of communicating. The first takeaway or key I want you guys to have. Number one, when it comes to communication, what are you communicating? What are you communicating? Is your conversation positive? Is it fruitful? Is it enlightening? Is it educational? It's about lifting up one person, or is it about tearing somebody down? And I'm talking about like when you're talking about, people. When you're talking about people, is it positive? Is it negative? Just something for you to really think about. The second thing is this. What are you communicating? That should have been the first one. So let me rephrase that. The second one should be, who are you communicating with, right? And the people in which that you're communicating with, are these people that are loving you up? Are they inspiring you? Are they challenging you to be greater? Or are you communicating with people that's so much negative, right? Every single time you talk to them, it's always like the vibrations are so low. They're always like super critical to cynical, right? And they're not adding any kind of value whatsoever And every time you have that conversation, you're like, man, I'm so tired, man. I feel like going to sleep. Right? So I want you to really think about that. Who are you communicating with, and what are you communicating about? The third point is this, guys. What are your motives for communicating? Why are we even talking? Right? What's the end goal of it? Now, some people may be saying, well, I just want to talk because I just want to gossip. Okay, but what are you getting out of that? Is it helping you? Is it helping you grow, right? Is it helping you spiritually, financially, health-wise, emotionally-wise? What is it doing? That's the reason why, for me personally, I really don't watch the news per se, and I don't watch much TV, because of the fact that basically, really, if you think about it, most of that is garbage anyway. And what is it really teaching you? What is it really teaching me, in all honesty? If you ask me, I'd rather be reading books. I'd rather be learning about personal development. I'd rather be doing activities that's going to grow, right? And that's going to help my future. Not only that, that's going to bring me even closer, right, as far as my long-term vision, and also setting the stage as far as to leave a legacy behind. And if it ain't that, I ain't interested. And I don't care how sexy or how great it is. And the last point is this, guys, in terms of communication. What do you seek to gain while communicating with others? Right? What's the end goal? What are you looking to establish? What are you looking to gain? And really think about that. Really, really think about that. What are you looking to gain? Because with these 4 key points in which that I mentioned to you, if you really sit down and you really think about that, right? Really think. A lot of people say that they think, but in actuality, I'm talking about critical thinking and getting real. Then with that, you would have the insights and the tools to make your 2023 even better than 2022, 2021, 2020, etc., etc. So with that, guys, I think that as far as that, I made my point. Just wanted to go ahead and share this with you guys. Nothing fancy. I know it's pretty simple, but yet I believe to the right person can be very, very powerful. So I appreciate each and every single last one of you. Just as a reminder, guys, with my YouTube channel, I am definitely growing that. So please feel free as far as to, subscribe to my channel, which is Sean A. White. Also, you can follow me on all the other social media handles, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc., etc. And also, too, guys, the Small Business Network, we are definitely growing exponentially. So if you ever thought about as far as really using the power of internet, TV, and radio and what that can do to help grow your brand and your business, I'd love to have a conversation with you. And even, hey, if you say, well, you know what, that's not really for me, but I would love as far as to do a podcast and even perhaps be a co-host as well, and that looks very fun and exciting, then we need to have a conversation as well. And until then, family, if what I stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, may God be the glory, and I take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you're all amazing. I appreciate your time. By His grace and mercy, look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Peace and love, family. Thank you.